So welcome everybody to a Tilt webinar with Professor Shiva Rahmani, game-based teaching and interactive learning in online and hybrid classes. I'm Helen Myers, I'm chair of the Association for Language Learning London branch, and I'm delighted to be able to host these webinars, which have been supported very much by Hikerphilp and Linguiscope. But the person who's been really responsible for bringing together the talent we have seen, and we have been so fortunate. Over lockdown, we've had well over 100 webinars now, and it's really been down to Joe, who has been introducing all these wonderful people to us. He will introduce our speaker later on, but I'm inviting you now, Joe, to introduce yourself.
Thank you ever so much, Helen. Really excited about today's webinar, as always. But yeah, so a little bit about me. I'm an independent languages consultant, and at the moment during the pandemic, I've been the chief scout, asking lots and lots of lovely people from around the world to present for us for the Association for Language Learning, so that everybody can benefit, and they're all free to access for everybody, which has just been amazing. I also obviously have to make a living as well. So in the chat, I put my list of 18 example sessions. If there's anything that jumps at you there around ideas for remote or hybrid teaching, let me know. I would love to do a webinar for you, not only in the UK, but from around the world. In the last few months, I've done webinars for people in Australia, Lithuania, the States, here, there, and everywhere, all over. So I don't mind what time of the morning I get up. It's all good. Let me know if there's anything I can help with. But anyway, let's crack on with tonight's webinar. Over to you, Helen.
Hey, thank you. ALL members, are you out there? So Association for Language Learning, the main organisation for anybody to do with language learning in this country, or if you're a member of a subject association in another country, please use this opportunity now to put in the chat which association you're in and to urge people to join, particularly ALL, please. That would be great. It really is an important association to belong to, where you'll get a glossy magazine regularly, and where, most importantly, you're part of a big community of people. We have webinars coming. Joe has been very busy. If you go onto our ALL London site, you'll see the list there. So we've got 27th of May, Danielle is coming up, and that's already open for you to be able to go for those. Tomorrow evening, if you're a beginning teacher or recently qualified, then do come along to a social evening we've got. You can see here the list of all of the others which are coming up. The ones which are in yellow have been highlighted. The highlighted yellows are all the ones which Joe has organised for Tilt, but lots of other things coming up too. This is what you're here for tonight. So I'm now going to pass over to Joe to introduce our guest.
Fantastic. Thank you, Helen. So I saw Shiva speak at a recent conference for the MWALLT organization, which I think stands for the Midwestern Association for Language Teaching and Technology, or something along those lines. So I saw Shiva's presentation, which was only 10 minutes long, because lots of presentations. It was very interesting the way that he organized it. They had some longer sessions, but they had a whole slew of sessions which were only 10 minutes long, and I was really interested in what Shiva was presenting at that particular event around game-based learning, around tools such as Jamboard. And somewhat cheekily, I suppose, I contacted Shiva afterwards and said, I don't suppose you could do a longer version of your great talk for the Association for Language Learning. And I was really delighted when she said yes. So we're really thrilled, Shiva, that you're here tonight talking with us and sharing your expertise, and we can't wait to get started. So over to you. For the questions, as Helen has said, if you want to put a Q in front of your question, we'll collect all the questions, and then we'll do all the questions at the end, unless there's something, for example, we can't see Shiva's screen, or there's some technical issue. But if you have any questions, we would love you to ask questions, but we'll do all the questions at the end. So if you'd like to share your screen now, Shiva, please, that would be fantastic. And thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
Okay, can you see my screen, Joe?
Yep, all
awesome.
Good.
So first of all, thanks to Helen, and also thank you, Joe, for inviting me here today. And I'm delighted really to be here to share my experiences with all of you. All right, let's start. So 1 second, okay. So today I will be talking about using games to promote interaction in online and hybrid classes, and the focus will be mainly on using Google Jamboard. So here is the agenda for, oops, Entschuldigung. Oops, sorry. So the agenda is basically, I will demonstrate the many ways you can leverage this tool to spark collaboration and maximize interaction in the classroom, and also the rationale for integrating Google Jamboard into your daily lessons. We will then create together a lesson using Google Jamboard as our main tool, and then we will have a brief Q&A session. So here is the first question I do have for everyone, and I'm not sure, Helen, can they unmute themselves, or is that something we can do? That would be fantastic. Perfect. So yes. So first I want to, so the way we teach and the way we learn is different. At this point, I want you to think about the most memorable and important lessons you have learned in your life. So any lessons. So I would like for you to think about it for a minute, and then you can unmute yourselves and tell me about the lessons that were the most memorable for you.
Any volunteers? Don't be shy.
Helen and Joe, you can participate as well.
Over to you, Helen. Your most memorable lesson.
Okay, and what I've done, just so you know, I have made it so that people can unmute themselves, and presumably if you want to put up your hand so that we know that you're ready, because I think that's probably people would want to make sure that you're ready for that. The most memorable and important lesson I've learned in my life. What about you, Joe?
I've learned the important lesson of working hard. I'm a big believer in that. Always trying 100% in everything that you do and working hard. That's an important lesson. And always try to be pushing the envelope, finding out about the latest thing, and then sharing it with the wider community. That's the lesson which I've certainly learned in. It's
a nice, safe one.
Yeah,
I'm thinking for me, it's really quite personal. I mean, the lessons that I learn are when things go really, really wrong, and you offend people by being too keen and too emotional about something. So partly my lessons are just calm down a little bit, and I find that quite difficult.
And when you learned these lessons, what helped you to learn anything you learned, basically any lesson, what helped most to learn them better? What has helped?
Yeah.
So please, Helen.
No, let's see if other people are going to join in. Otherwise it would just me
it is
confession.
Yeah, it is actually workshops, so everyone will have to talk in a little bit when I send you into a breakout room. So but yeah, we can continue here if anyone, is there anything in the chat?
Come on, Helen, you're good. Helen McFarlane, over to you.
Helen's never shy.
Helen's very wise.
Yeah, so she says to oh yeah, please, Helen. Oh, was that you, Helen? Nice.
Helen McFarlane.
Yeah. I'm really glad you can't see me, because I went on my bike ride before this class, Helen. I am as red as a lobster. Yes, for me, I have learned to try as hard as I can to put myself in the situation of my learners, my students, to try and think, what do they need? What do they want? Reading between the lines, listen, and then just listen just a little bit harder. So that's what I've tried to learn. Over the years, I've got it wrong. I liked what you said, Helen. The hardest lessons I've learned are the ones that really hurt me because they went wrong. But I've tried to put that right. So yeah, just trial and error, but I think listening. And as language teachers, I think we speak a lot, we talk a lot, but maybe we don't always listen. So I'm laughing at myself now.
Thank you so much, Helen. So yeah, this is it exactly. So if we all think about it, the answers are that lessons that we are all actively engaged with are the ones that are more challenging and we enjoyed the most. Those are definitely the ones that are the most memorable and important lessons basically in our lives. So, but before we really dive into this topic, I would like you to try it out for yourselves by discussing a topic together using Google Jamboards. So the objective is you can list problems instructors face when trying to increase interaction. And the interaction type is you're going to do that in small groups, 3 to 4 people. Perhaps if you can even turn on your camera, but if it has been disabled by the host, you don't have to, but definitely you would need to turn on your microphones. So, and you have 4 minutes for this activity. The instructions are as follows, and I will walk you through to show you how you can use the tool. So read the question, discuss it, and this is important. Write answers onto Jams using sticky notes or typing text or finding relevant images, and I will walk you through this. Here's the link. I'm going to share that with you, but whoops, where did my, let me share the, I'm going to send that into the chat for everyone. And here's the chat. Okay, so please open that, but let me again share my screen with you to show you how you can use it. All right. Okay. Okay, so share screen. So this is what it looks like. So I wrote the question here, problems we face when trying to increase interaction. Please don't type in anything yet because we want to send you into breakout rooms, and you can see I have 1 to 12 rooms up here. If you follow my cursor and the mouse, so it's, I have, you can have 20 rooms, and I like to call them rooms. You can call them slides, but I have 12 rooms and the same questions with a different background, different colored sticky notes, and I left a couple ideas here for you. But what I want you to do is to read the question, discuss the answers, and then on your left side, you see here on the left-hand side, you see some tools. So you can either click on this one that says sticky note, and you can type in your word. You can choose the colors you want, and then I'm going to just put in this, change the color to blue, pink, green, whatever you want. You save it, and the next one opens. So if you're done with it, just click anywhere on the screen, and there it is. You can click on it, move it around. You can increase its size, decrease it. So it's up to you, however you want to do it. Or if you want to directly type onto the Jamboards, you can just click on text box. And here it is. So you can just type whatever you want. That's another way to do it. This is the laser function. If you want to present, you can just use this. Why is it not working? Let's see. Oh, I don't know why it's not showing.
It's working.
Oh, is it? Okay, on my end, I didn't see it. Okay, yeah. It's working. Great. Or perhaps you want to find an image to express your thoughts. So you click on add image, and then you can click on Google image search. So you can find an image that can express your thoughts rather than typing it in. So it's up to you. You have 3 ways how you can do this. Let me close this. So that's the question. So you have 4 minutes to discuss it with your peers, and then we will bring you back. All right.
Can I just check? Are you talking about student interaction in a face-to-face class, or in a remote teaching context, or in a blended context? Or?
It doesn't matter. It can be in either hybrid, online, or face-to-face. But okay. What are the problems? Yes, great question, Joe. Thank you. So what are some problems that we as instructors face when we want to increase interaction? How can we promote and increase student interaction? So 2 questions, discuss it, and let's see what you guys can come up with. So Helen, can we send them into groups?
Right. So at the moment, I'm just looking at how many people have joined the Jamboard, and it looks as if there are 12 people who've joined at the moment, clicked on there. We've got 28 in the room, but you'll want to have, so should we go for 4 rooms, 5 rooms?
Yes, yes. And then we can tell them who is in what room.
Yes.
We can
if for any reason, I know that sometimes people are very, very anxious about breakout rooms. We don't want you to leave us, okay? So if for any reason it's not for you, then you can just stay here and we can have a little chat here. Okay?
Yes.
So just to be able to tell you that, because I see always whenever we mention breakout rooms, the numbers go down because people get anxious. So please don't get me anxious. All right. So we're going to send enough people there, so that should work. So if we say have 5 rooms, then
yes, we can do that.
See how this goes, and then you should get. Oh, we've got at least 16 people there. So this is where I get slightly nervous, but we'll manage it. So here we go. Breakout rooms. I am creating 5 breakout rooms. Mm-hmm. And I'm assigning you automatically Yes.
Yep,
Yes, but
yeah.
please don't hit the button. Don't start the room yet, so we can tell them who is using which slide, like which room of the
Great.
Jamboard. Thank you so much, Alan. And by the way, this is also one problem we face when we try to increase interaction, isn't it? So the anxiety, like you just talked about, that some participants just feel anxious about it. Okay, are you ready?
So, and how will they know which one they do? It'll be.
So we tell them now.
You're going to tell them now.
Yes. So do you have room 1, and then who are the participants in room 1?
Oh, I see. So, but if
So I think what we need to do, we need to assign them, and then you'll be able to see who's in which room, Helen, I think.
yes. So if people don't accept the invitation yet, is this right?
Yeah, you haven't opened the rooms yet. So you just created the rooms.
Right.
And then,
yes. Sometimes I've done this. So we have, and I'm telling people which room they're in.
yes. So the first,
In room 1, we've got Alexandrina, Dora, Fauzia, Giselle, Joe, and Marifa.
perfect. So you all are room 1 up here. Again, look at my mouse. So this first slide is yours, basically. Now let's click on next. Room 2, Helen.
Is AJA, FB, Iris Dutch, Makia, Mike B, and Vanessa.
Perfect. If you have heard your name, this is room 2. This is yours. So slide number 2 is yours. And now the third one.
Alice McLean, Caroline Grant, Heather Irwin, Lingo Trottin Kids, Margarita Mortimer, and Shiraz.
Perfect. And if you have heard your name, that's yours. And number 4
is Diana Singer, Fran, Laura D, Rosa, Rosario, and actually you, Shiva, but I expect you might want to.
Yes, I will stay here.
Yes, that's right. So
perfect. And the last one?
And the last one, room 5, we've got Caroline, Helen McFarlane, Laura D, and Sidonia Tigita.
Awesome. Perfect. You can open the rooms and have fun. In 4 minutes, we will bring you back.
Okay, open the rooms. So Shiva, then you can just, people have to accept it. You can just stay here, can't you?
Yes.
And as long as we've got at least 2 people in each room, that's okay. Yeah, it's worked. Good.
Right, yes.
And can you, as the co-host, can you see the rooms, or is it only I
can see them? Nope, I can see them.
Oh, that's really good.
Yep. Let me set a timer here for 4 minutes, and then we bring them back. Awesome. Great.
No, we're doing breakout rooms, I think. Yeah, thank you.
We can see now what they are doing. Basically, let's click on.
This is so good. You're giving me lots of great training.
I'm glad you enjoy it. It's really, it's a fantastic tool. So let's see what they're doing. And this gives them also an opportunity to explore. Look at that. Someone already added an image.
Yeah.
That's great.
So at the moment, and as far as our recording goes, I think it's wherever I go is being recorded, or is it just the main room is being recorded? So actually this is good that you're showing it, because that way we'll be seeing it for the recording.
Yes. I think you have to go into the rooms for the recording to continue, right? But you're right, we're showing it here, right?
Yes, whatever's happening here will be shown. Yeah.
So I already left some of them for them, so they just can guide them, but normally students do that themselves.
This is good because, we've had lots of sessions where we've talked about what you could do, but there's nothing better, is there?
I know. Experience. That's why, I figured a workshop would be better than just like presenting. I have like 1 to 2 more activities for them, and I think everyone will enjoy them, and then just using them.
So I've got broadcast message to all. Shall I tell people they've got a minute to come back? Or
yes, you can just broadcast a message and
broadcast.
Tell them they have a minute. Exactly.
1 more minute. And in fact, I think then when I close it, if I close the rooms, they then have a minute countdown from then, don't they?
It depends on how you set it up when you open the room. Did you set it up on 5th? No, if you haven't done anything, then it's probably a minute. Yeah. So
I think I did.
Yeah. So you can give them in like 30 seconds, you can close it so they have.
Yeah. And then they can choose to come back, can't they? So
yeah.
Because we are going to be using this I've got a something coming up in June where we're going to be doing breakout.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Very good. No, you're doing, I can see you really are. You're practicing what you're preaching, aren't you? How you engage them. So if I press close now, I think it'll be a...
Yep, 60 seconds. Perfect.
Seconds, yeah. So you as co-host, you can see the
I can see it.
Names and you would
Everything.
go in and out. That's great. Yeah. Because I think there are some things which have changed in Zoom, even while we're in the lockdown, that some things which weren't possible before are now. So
I cannot create rooms. I know that. I can see that you, as a co-host, you can close rooms, but you cannot create rooms. All right.
And that's because of the type of Zoom account I've got. So this is good that they're not coming back. It means that they don't.
That's great. They have a minute. That's great. Yeah. And look at that. Look at all the things they wrote already. That's fantastic.
That's really
there
good.
It is. That's really, wow. Look at them. Group number 3 has so much.
And look, it's color coded.
Yes.
Organized.
This is fantastic with lots of images. This is great. This is great.
And this has meant that they've been able to do this, even if they haven't been able to use, I mean, I have enabled voice, but no, it's great.
Oh, I like Rosa. Look at that. I like your background. That's nice. Oh, I like to see everyone's faces. That's great.
And feel free to keep your videos on.
Yes,
Absolutely
yes.
to do that.
Fantastic. Lovely to see everyone. Perfect. Welcome back. And I really enjoyed looking at all the slides you guys have created. I mean, all the ideas, and then some of you have even added images. This is great. This is fantastic. Wonderful. All right, let me come back to my slides here. We'll come back to, where is it? Here it is. Okay. Okay. So let's continue. All right. So just one more thing, if you are using Google Jamboard, that's what I always tell my students. I tell them one of you has to share their screen for maximum interaction. So one of the students shares this, like they share the screen and then they talk together. So that's really, really important. And I, as a host, need to enable that. Otherwise, they cannot share their screen. So once you want to use this, make sure you enable screen sharing. All right. So let's talk a little bit about pedagogical values. So Harold B. White, the editor of the Biochemistry and Molecular Biology Education, documented his findings on how people tend to learn in his essay, Do You Teach the Way You Learn? So most of the lessons weren't learned in the traditional academic environment with teachers because the environment lacked aspects such as an obvious challenge and a potential solution, personal involvement and personal responsibility, social support, and strong connections with people involved in a problem-solving process. You can easily resolve these by starting to integrate game-based learning into your sessions. Given that language primarily exists to facilitate communication, interaction in that language must have an important role to play in developing a learner's ability in that language. In other words, instructors need to promote learner interaction to help the learners succeed, and they can achieve that by implementing interactive games and assignments into their lesson plan. But what is very important is that you shouldn't confuse game-based learning with gamification. Gamification means you add some game-like elements to the real serious environment to make it look like a game. But with game-based learning, the whole process is a well-organized learning environment within a game. So here are some benefits. I just want to show you that how great it is to use this tool. So maximizing practice time. Learners need to practice as much as possible if they are to be successful. Interaction through pair and group work maximizes the opportunities to practice as more learners speak for more of the time. Collaboration, collaborative learning, particularly through the use of collaborative tasks, has been shown to foster language development. And socialization, related to the concept of collaboration, is that of socialization. Interaction does not only promote language development, but it also fosters the development of social skills. And motivation, of course, which is the fundamental aspect of successful learning. Interaction gives learners the opportunity to use language successfully and to measure their progress, which in turn should lead to an increase in motivation. So basically, with this presentation, I'm hoping to equip you with the tools to use creativity and interactive tasks in your classroom to promote learning and language development. You will learn how to create interactive group and partner activities requiring creative thinking skills and plan a collaborative language lesson involving auditory, visual, and tactile tools. Okay. So, but now let's start with Google Jamboard. All right, so you already got a glimpse into Google Jamboard. It is an interactive, collaborative, digital whiteboard system developed by Google in 2016. It is free and suitable for all language proficiency levels. It is very user-friendly and it can be used for synchronous and also asynchronous learning. So you can either work together during your sessions, or you can assign it as homework. However, you must be signed into Google to create a Jamboard, but for others to access they can to access it, to edit it and add to it, they would only need to have access to the link. And this is fantastic, I think. Anyone can access your jams depending on how you share the link. So you have options. You can either click on view or editor. So when I shared that link with you, I set it to editor, this meaning that you all could add to it and edit the jams. All right. So, and I will send this link to you toward the end, which gives you just like the technical sides on how you can create jams. All right. So why should we use Google Jamboard? So I have just a few ideas on how you can leverage this tool to spark collaboration and maximize interaction between students. So first of all, it is fast, efficient, very user-friendly, like we said, and you can do so many things with it, such as practicing grammar points. And I will show that to you. Practicing vocab and defining vocabulary terms, brainstorming ideas, creating timelines, drag and drop activities, matching activities, passing the ball using the laser function, and I will show you that as well. Storytelling, reenacting historical events in a creative way, solving math problems and equations, annotating text, role plays, and really the list goes on and on. So, but let's take a closer look. Now I'm taking you to back to my slides here, to my screen. Okay. So let's go back here. Can everyone see can you see my screen, or is it still on the slides?
Yeah, we can see your Jamboard recent jams page.
Perfect. So these are the jams basically that I created within the past 6 months. There's a lot of them. Again, I regularly use it in my classes. It's just fascinating. But so just want to show you, this is my main page, and you can, but let's take a closer look. So, all right. So to drill grammar, let's start with the first one here. And I do teach German. So this is, so to drill grammar, I'm going to show you a few jams and just give you some ideas on how you can use it to drill grammar, basically. So this is my group. These are my students. I wrote their names on little sticky notes. And on the right side, you can see we were working on conjugating modal verbs in the singular and plural forms. So using the laser to the left, the students were given editor permissions, meaning they were passing the ball. So for instance, I told Lyndon, he would take this laser and would tell like Joel, conjugate, like let's say here are the verbs on the right side, conjugate the verb can in the third person singular, and then the other person would have conjugated them. This is how they would just basically drill grammar just for conjugating modal verbs. And you can see, depending on like how big my class was, you can duplicate up here when it shows the rooms. If you click on it and then you see these 3 little dots, you can duplicate the same thing. So this is how you would tell them, hey, you go to room 1, you go to room 2, you go to room 3, etc. So that's one activity I would do with them. And another one here to drill grammar, I would use also this. This is a board game I used with them where I had basically, again, their names, the initials. I would write it on little sticky notes, as that would act as the pawn. And then I would give them a virtual dice, which they would roll to conjugate these verbs. Again, you can see that's just conjugating. And at different levels, you can do different things. For instance, at the novice level, they could just conjugate. At the intermediate level, you could ask them to create a sentence rather than just conjugating them. So it's up to you how you want to do that. Again, this is the same, just a different room. Another activity to drill grammar. Again, there's so many, I really just chose a few of them here. Which is this one. So this one is, again, using verbs in the accusative and dative. So here again, they either they would roll the dice, and then what they would do, they either would they would need to create a sentence either using the accusative object or the indirect object, the dative case. So this is after they have learned about the dative and the accusative, and this gave them an opportunity to create sentences using these, the indirect and direct object. And then there is another one where I will send this link as well toward the end, where you can create your own dice however you want it. So I created this with conjunctions. And this one, I told the students to finish and complete these sentences using the conjunctions. So whatever when you roll your dice, whatever the conjunction, you create and complete the sentence with that. And again, you have their sticky notes as pawns where they continue playing it. So this is for grammar, basically. But now let's take a look at another activity for what I used to drill, let's say, vocabulary, to learn and practice more vocabulary. So that was during Thanksgiving. And what I asked the students to do here, depending on if you have from students from different cultures, you can decide what you want to do. You can even leave it open. But for me, it was during Thanksgiving. So what I told them to do is I said, first, go into your rooms. Again, there are 3 rooms you can see up here. I told them, what do you eat during Thanksgiving? So I gave them an opportunity, and I told them first to find images rather than words. So they found these images, and I helped them, of course, with some of the plates to just set it up. And then what I did after that, I told them, you can see some of them have been moved around, and they can move it around. So I told them to, at the same time, we were working on vocabulary, but also active listening. So I told them, how do you set up your table? So one person had to talk to the other person and tell them, where would the glass go? To the right of, to the left of, on top of. So they were practicing prepositions using their words to the other person, to their partner, and their partner had to listen carefully. And then based on what he or she was listening, based on he and she and they were listening, they were supposed to move things around. And so they had to actively listen. And then the other person could correct them. Oh no, I did not say that. So this was one way we used this activity, again, with images and just like vocabulary and grammar. Another one is here. Let's see what we have. Okay, so that was, again, I wanted to talk about jobs, so occupation and different occupations, and also prepositions of location. So this is now all set nicely, but I asked them, so they brought it in nice or in the correct order, but I asked them, so they had a few images, and they were supposed to say what is his job, one, and then where does he work. So they were working on vocabulary and at the same time, again, with prepositions. All right, so you can see, again, that's the room number 2. Everyone did it differently. Like everyone did that differently in every group. All right, so another one was, the topic was university. So first we just created a mind map and did some brainstorming. So I asked them, what words, terms, definitions can you associate with the word university? And I promoted convergent thinking there, meaning they had to think outwards, not just limiting their thoughts into 1, 2, or 3 answers, rather thinking about everything they can associate with the word university. So here they all, and you see it's only one room. So I wanted everyone to see what everyone else has been adding to this. And then later on, once they learned more about university, or you can hear it say school, elementary school, secondary school, whatever you want. Once they learned those terms and more and read a few texts here and there, that's when we would come back here and I would ask them to add more words, because what we're trying to do, we're always trying to move them from oral language, from this tier 1 language where they use simple words, to oracy, and then eventually to literacy. So that's what we're trying to do. So we would come back and then I would ask them, now categorize these words, categorize them into, let's say, campus activities or like food. So different categories. And here, this is a great example. I can show you how they did that. Let me go back to slide 1. So you can see here we had 4 groups, and this topic was Vienna and Salzburg. They had to do the same thing. So we were comparing 2 cities. They first started to every word, term, definition, anything that came to mind, they had to write it down. Later on, we categorize them, and here I'll show you how they categorize them. So we talked about cultural, political, the climate, education. So later on, we took the same words, added more, and then categorized them. And then later on, what they did toward the end was they used this mind map and talked about compared 2 cities. So again, lots of interaction, lots of listening, lots of creating and building here. So this is what I did for vocabulary. And there's one more I did as well, and that can fall into practice in vocabulary and grammar at the same time, where we wanted to practice the direct object, which is the accusative case in German. So I told them, what do you have at home? So they were find images first. So they first found images of what they have at home or in their room. It's up to you. You can make it smaller, narrow down the answers. And then they had to write down words. And after they learned, they knew, okay, these are the words, those are the images. Then they would go with their partner to this room, again in breakout rooms, and go from move from picture 1 to picture 2, 3, and 4, and talk about what is where, what is located where. And perhaps at this stage, you could even ask students as homework to take a picture of their own room if they feel comfortable, of course, or their dream room. What does that look like? And bring that, and they could add that here and talk about that with their peers. So that's another way you could use this activity. And let me show you this. This is another one that was from I taught fairy tales also. And here, like we did again, brainstorming here, define the word fairy tale. What kind of places or figures or people do appear in fairy tales? And then this section, what words can you think of when you think about fairy tales? And this was just the very beginning to activate pre-knowledge. So this is not, they haven't learned anything yet. This is just to activate that pre-knowledge. What's the moral in that story? So etc. And what fairy tale is your favorite? So again, just the very beginning, another way we did that. And here you can see another, like, these are different quotes from fairy tales, and these are the fairy tale characters. They could like move them around. This is a matching activity. Like who said this? Which fairy tale was that? So they would read it, and together or individually you can test them here on comprehension skills, just to see if they have comprehended a text that they have read it beforehand. All right, let's move to the next one. Now speaking. So what can I do for speaking? So our topic, this was a few months ago, we watched, and this is the intermediate, I would say mid-level, which we watched a movie on Goodbye Lenin, and our topic was nostalgia, basically. So first we just again, mind map, brainstorming. What do you associate with the word nostalgia? Is there anything special? So they wrote them down. After they had wrote it down, here you can see, then we talked about, okay, is nostalgia positive or negative? So they had to discuss this in their rooms. Of course, it's always talking and communication and talking is always involved. So they first talk, and I always, if they're like 4 students in one group, I tell them that 2 of you have to actively talk. Number 3 has to give an opinion. Oh, I agree, disagree. Number 4 is the scriber who writes. And number 4 is the scriber who writes will be the one who later, when we come all back to the main room, will present their findings. So you can assign roles before you send them off. And I highly recommend doing that. Otherwise they get to the room, oh, I don't know who's going to talk, who wants to do what. So this is just really facilitates everything if you just assign them these roles. So again, they listed here positive on the left side and the negative here, and then discussed it, wrote it down, and then presented it to everyone else in the class. Another activity is like here, these are from the movie we watched, Goodbye Lenin. I took like 2 screenshots of 2 different scenes. So I told them, let's compare these 2 scenes. How is the mother feeling in this scene? How is she feeling here? What is she thinking here? What is she doing? So again, they had to talk and then write their findings on these jams, basically. Let's do another. I have a couple more left. So let's go over these as well. This is one of the ones I really enjoyed doing as well. So this was, our topic is asking for directions. And nowadays everyone has Google Maps, right? Normally. So I integrated that here as well. So, but before we started doing this, as homework, asynchronously, they learned expressions. What do I need to use in order to ask for directions? Like, excuse me, how can I get to? So you need those expressions, right? In German, of course. So first they had to learn that. Then they learned the grammar needed, like the imperative in German. And also the vocabulary, like how do you say like to cross, and all those words and terms they would need. Then as a review to reinforce what they had learned, I created these slides and asked them in English. You can see down here, it says go across the crosswalk. This was just to test them and assess and see if they had done their homework. So we did go over these. You can see there are like several ones after we started with this. So this is the part where I really enjoyed, and I gave them 2 options. I said option 1, and again, I wrote the instructions here, the expressions they would need in German for them here, and then they either together, one of them, they for instance, let's say they start down here and they want to get somewhere up here. One of them says, I want to get here, how can I get there? And they give the directions, or they could use a Google map of their choice. And I gave that as an example to them. This is the campus of University of Chicago. And I told them, this is point A, you choose. Do you want to go to Plain Air Cafe? Where do you want to go? You ask each other, how can I get there? And they really, really enjoy that. And you know what? You can actually, Google Maps is now so well designed. It's like you can actually use it to see in real life what it looks like, and they can use that to practice it. One person would say where to go, the other person would literally move that little figure around for that. So that's another great thing you can do with that. And so the last one before it's your turn to create one for a few minutes is role plays. So of course I want them to speak as much as possible. So some days you can see I've created 20 rooms with different themes and topics. For instance, eating and restaurants. And they would either ask each other questions or actually play. Like have a role play done where one is like the servant and the other one will order food, the customer, or like here, this is if you are going, what is that? Oh, if you're sick, where would you go? What would you do? Again, different situations where they can talk and ask each other just to really reinforce speaking skills here. And there are like 20 rooms here, and I'm happy to share this with you, although it's in German. If there are any German speakers, I would be happy to share that with you. But my last thing is now, we don't have that much time, but I really want you to try this out perhaps for like a few minutes. And this is the one I had for you planned, and I want you to I think it's great if we could do it for 4 minutes, because I want this to be hands-on. So this is what you have been given. What would you do with it? I want you to go into groups and talk. How would you create an interactive lesson just with these 2 images? What would you do? So I want you to talk about it together in your small groups, and then write down your ideas into little sticky notes and see what comes out. Helen, can we have the same groups?
Yes, okay, so same groups. So I'm going to open all rooms now.
And yes, I think we did not tell them which room they should go, but hopefully they know. It's okay. You know, it's fine. Yeah, we can tell. No, that would be too much trouble. But they can be all in one room. I mean, it's great if they can talk together. So that's great. Okay, let's give them like 3 minutes or so for this activity. Okay. How the time flies.
So I haven't assigned. Oh no, they've all been assigned, have they?
Well, there's some here.
Could we have access to the Jamboard in the chat so everyone can access it? Because I think we can't, in the breakout rooms, we can't access the chat, can we?
Oh, you're right.
Access the Jamboard.
Yes. Oh my goodness, my bad. You're right. I did copy. Yeah, absolutely.
So if you just put it in the chat, then we can broadcast that, because I'm not sure they can still track, can they?
No, they won't see that. You're right. My bad.
That's all right. That's fine.
Someone just joined, so I think I worked, hopefully.
There we are. That's fine.
But you know what? They cannot access it, Helen, because you cannot copy a message, from like when you broadcast a message, you cannot copy paste it. Can you?
No, you can just click on it. I think I've just clicked on it.
Did it work?
Yeah.
You're in the chat here, aren't you?
I know, but when I was in the breakout room before, I posted something in the chat, and I think it went in the main chat.
But the broadcast message.
Yeah, the broadcast message different. Perhaps we can do it all here together.
Yes.
How about we do that? Let's do that. Let's close that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you've still got plenty of time, Shiva. Don't worry, because we started about 10 past.
Oh, good.
8.
Oh,
so
thank you.
Don't rush. It's fine. If you're happy to do another 20 minutes, then that's absolutely fine.
Yes. I was like, oh my God, I have 9 minutes.
No, there's no rush. Sometimes people go on for longer than that. So don't panic. Whatever feels right.
Can I just establish what are we going to do? So when people come back, do you want to restart it again and tell them?
Yes.
This time what to do. So
yes.
Okay.
So
cool.
Is everyone back?
It's closing in 29 seconds.
Okay.
You've still got room 4. Fran and Rose are still. Yeah, there are people still there.
But they'll be joining us in 20 seconds, so that's okay.
Yeah, they're probably. Well, that was the fastest 4 minutes.
I love your resources. They're fantastic. Really lovely.
I'm so happy. Thank you. Thanks, Joe. I hope it can help everyone. It's really helping me. So
I think people are finding it really inspiring. The idea of using the Jamboards in breakout rooms. I've talked about this in presentations, but to actually do it live is it takes it to a whole new level. It's really great. That's
awesome. Wonderful. All right. I think everyone's back now, perhaps.
Yes, I think because they would.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. So apologies. So what happened? I totally forgot to share the link with you. So you couldn't even have access to this. So let me send that back to send that into the chat one more time. Please open it. So before you go, we're going to tell you who is in what room, and then you have 4 minutes. And again, it's so important that you talk together and whoops. My timer went off. That was the 4 minutes. So I would like for you to discuss it and hear different opinions and perspectives on how you can create an interactive lesson. All right.
So a reminder of that, it's the same rooms as before. So Alexandrina, Fazia, Giselle, Joe and Marifa in room 1, Iris, Makia and Vanessa in room 2. Room 3 is Alice, Caroline, Heather, Margarita and Shiraz. Room 4 is Diana, Fran, Rosa and Shiva. No, not Shiva. Room 5 is Caroline, Helen, and Sidonia. So if you're not sure, just stay here and we'll tell you. So everybody has to have opened up that link first. Is that right?
Yeah.
So I'm now going to open the rooms.
Yes.
Perfect.
I'm going to put my light on as well here.
Oh yeah, it's like late there.
Got dark in it. Oh, this is great. I can really see how they're very attractive as well. All the things that you're showing us. There's a feel, isn't there, for students when they see something that,
oh yeah, it's
and the whole post-it thing and color and
yes. And then finding images, and I have a couple more activities I will show right after this. Again, there's so much you can do just using the Jamboards and integrating different games within the Jamboard, and they were just like creating with what they know. It's definitely, it's a winner, I would say.
One thing I can do is I can actually just pause the recording while they're doing that. Shall I do that?
Yes, yeah, we should do that for sure. I just set an alarm for
Oh, room 1.
wow. This is great.
They're still carrying on.
It says, tell Stefan where to put his things to make them tidier. I love that. That's a good one. Is Joe in there as well? Is Joe in the rooms? Has he joined the rooms too?
I think he's still in room 1. He's in that room where all those ideas are coming out. So yes. Because room 3's only got one person in it now. Shiraz has been on his own.
I think they're slowly coming back.
I think some people have written to me to say sorry we had to leave, but
yeah, it's understandable. It's already late over there. Well, welcome back, everyone. I am so thrilled, so excited to read all these ideas. You are giving me ideas, so this is fantastic. I mean, look at that. And I will definitely take a screenshot and add that to the slides that I will be sending over to Helen so she can upload that as well, so you all have access to it. But I'm just really excited to read about, especially that one. That seemed very funny. Tell Stefan where to put his things to make them tidy. I love that. And then again, all rooms were really busy here, and I really enjoyed reading about all these different ways you can create activities with this, and interactive activities, especially this one, crime scene, prepare a police report. I thought that was a very, very nice one. So wonderful. Okay, let's go back. I have a few more slides and then we are done. Let's go back to here. Okay. So can you see my PowerPoint slides again? Yes, perfect. All right. So I hope you enjoyed using Jamboard for this activity. Okay. Oops, why is it not working? Okay, here we go. That's the slides the link I was supposed to share with you. But okay, so here are other ways you can leverage this tool to maximize interaction. And these were all on my Jamboards, but I just took a screenshot and put it here so we don't have to go back and forth. One is chain drill. So with your breakout team, make a chain with a conditional tense, for instance. If I listen to more music in class, I would learn more. Helen? What would you say here? Yeah, I just called you out on the spot. Yeah, your microphone is off.
You're muted, Helen.
Yeah.
I would learn more French.
Okay, and then Joe, now the next person transforms the last part of the statement into the if statement. So Joe, she said, I would learn more French.
Right, so I have to,
with an if statement, the statement that Helen just said. So if I learn more French.
Oh, so right, so then you want me to finish the sentence, is that what you mean?
Yes.
Right, if I learned more French, I would also be very happy.
Okay, and then Alexandrina, how would you continue that with an if sentence? Yeah, you can.
If I would be happy, I would appreciate life more.
Oh, I like that one. Here we go. Caroline, how would you say that?
You're on mute, Caroline.
You're
on mute, Caroline.
Okay. If I were to appreciate life more, every day would be wonderful.
Oh, nice. So thank you so much. So this is another activity where you can practice different tenses or different grammar or different words. So it's a lot that's in there that you can use this playing chain drills using Jamboards. And yeah, all right. So another one, which I really, really like, I'm going to show you. It's window swap. Who has learned of this tool?
I have. I have.
You have? I
Yeah.
love this so much. So I integrate that also. This is an image. Again, I took a screenshot. This is on my Jamboards, and the link is for them there. Let me just show you. I don't want to read over this, what we're going to do, but let's come back to this. I'll get to this assessment later, but what it is, basically, they go into groups together. And once I share this link with them, let me take you and let's do it live. That's the fun part. Let's go back to share screen, and I'll show you how I use this. Again, leverage this amazing tool. Where's my window swap? So this is what it looks like. It's going to take a minute. Can everyone see that?
Yep.
Awesome. So they would together go into breakout rooms again. They would find this link on a Jamboard. Then they would click open a new window somewhere in the world. So this was done and was basically created during the pandemic, and it's a fascinating tool that we as instructors can really use for our classes, and that's what I've been doing. So you can see, here you go. So depending on what their level is, if it's novice level, then you can ask them, what do you see? Because at the novice level, we just expect of them to produce simple utterances, simple sentence, not even sentences, words. What color do you see? What do you see in that? What objects do you see? If there's not much to see, they can change. Here, let's click another one, open another window. It takes us to Greenwich, London. Let's see what we see here. So here they can, again, what do you see? In the intermediate level, you can ask them create sentences. They will create with the language, basically. You can ask them, how would you feel if you were there? They learned if clauses. So how would you feel if you were there? What do you talk about the weather? Use adjectives, explain this area. What do you see? At the advanced level, you can expect a longer discourse. You could ask them, compare this with, they could look at two windows, take a screenshot or don't. They just look at two for like 1 minute each, and then they can make a comparison. They can compare what was different, which one would I prefer to live in or like go on vacation, why? And then you have like a longer discourse right there using window swap. And again, you can really test them and assess their work at different levels using just this one tool. All right, let me come. There's more you can actually do with this, but let's just leave it at that right now. And for assessment, that's the part I want to talk about now. We always want to assess our students' works, and how we do that is you have different ways. I always believe in I always promote the 3 modes of communication, the interpretive, interpersonal. This is the presentational mode of communication, where I ask them either to write an essay after they learned whatever they learned. I always ask them, okay, now it's your turn. You have to produce something. You either write an essay or you create something, a presentation perhaps, or you can create your own window, and they can do that as well, and explain why you chose it. What were you trying to convey with it? Make it meaningful, or write an essay, as I said. Use 5 new terms together with expressions that you have learned. Use 2 relative clauses, etc. And then watch the recording or read the essay of one of your classmates and react by writing a response. Has the writer, the creator, succeeded in what they meant to convey? Yes, no, why not? Share your personal opinions on this window or topic. So this is a great way you can assess their work as well going forward. And all right, wait, are we? Oh, I think we are not. We are. Yeah, where are my slides? Sorry. Okay. And then I have Tea Party. So here, this is also again on slides, sorry, on Jamboard. So here, I'm going to just ask everyone here to unmute yourselves, look at the words. What do you think is the topic? Just unmute yourself and tell me, what do you think? Look at all the words, read through them. What could be the topic? You can guess here.
Oh, Vanessa has said dating.
Dating, I like that. What else?
Yeah.
Good. So basically what I would do here is you would write a few words. So what I did here, I would ask them, okay, first, again, what the level is. What do you see? What's the topic? Define, or you could ask them, define each word. What does it mean? And at the intermediate level, you can do more with this. They can create a story of what they think it might be, and then listen to someone else's story and make a comparison and give their opinion on that. So depending on what, you can use the same activity to milk it for every proficiency level, rather than creating various tasks for like various proficiency levels. That's what I just said. So novice, define each word, guess the topic, write a sentence using that word, create a short poem. You tell them with 1 noun, 2 adjectives, 1 verb, etc. And intermediate, create a short story. Where does it take place? Explain. Do you like the stories? Ask each other questions and respond. And for the advanced, you can do, what is your topic title? What is your story? Narrate it using first, then afterwards, because narration just happens in the advanced level. Reveal only your title and let your partner guess. So they would just say, I think this is the topic, like dating. And then the other person would create a story with that title. That's another way you can do it. What do you think will happen at the end, etc. So basically what I did here, I just want to show you this, is basically this. So that was words from a lyric, from a song. And the topic is Chicago, and we were talking about cultural elements. We were talking about, it's a person who is addicted, drug addict. She is a, I think it's a she. She's a drug addict, and this is in German. I just wrote the English for you. I just copy pasted the English version for you, the translation. But of course, it's in German. And this is where you now, after, so they guessed the words, and you tell them, you reveal the main topic and tell them, okay, this is what it is about. Then they will listen to the song. And after they listen to the song, I'll come back to this in 1 second. You can use lyrics training after they have learned what it is about and listen to the songs. This is fantastic. I will share that with you as well. They can practice vocabulary and grammar. And there's even like a tutorial on how to use this tool. But they listen to it, you can do lyrics training with them. And then after listening to it, you give them, what's your first impression? Talk about it. A few sentences here. Again, I'm happy to share my slides with you. And then they can work directly on the text, fill in the blanks, bring text sections in the right order, etc. Opinions about the song. How do you like the song? Associations to the song, describe the location of the people in the song. So, and here you can see these are the objectives. With this activity, basically Tea Party, it's suitable for all levels. It could be used to introduce a song or film or book or fairy tale. Again, lots of talking and active listening is involved here. It's a great way for predictions and getting students engaged and interested in the text. And objectives, again, you to do grammar, reinforce storytelling, improve on listening skills, and more. I think we are, let's check. Yeah, so we talked about assessment. I don't want to keep you longer. I can share this with you. It's been already over time. So let me just go to the end. This is another game, Dixit, that I can share with you, and I have explained everything here for you. It's about storytelling beside what we already did. This is another way you can ask for them. They would see an image, and they would describe it in 1 to 2 words, sentences. Let's do it right now together. And I am picking on Iris, perhaps. So listen to the sentence I'm describing. He loves mysterious things and loves the night. That was horrible, but how would you, which picture did I describe right now? Iris. I know it was really bad. It was so bad. I know.
The one with him walking up the stairs.
Yes, it was correct.
It actually reminds me of the Little Prince, some of these things.
It does, doesn't it? So this is Dixit. Basically, you would put that, of course, in the Jamboards with various images, and one person would choose one, select one, and then describe it with like 1 to 2 sentences, and without giving away too much. And the other person will then, the other ones, all of them at the same time, write in the chat their answer. And then you say, ready, set, go, and they all press enter. And you will then explain why you chose that image. So this is another way to talk about stories. Great way to really use in your classes as well. Okay, the adaptation, I will post that. We're not doing that right now, but once again, you can annotate and draw. Again, there's endless possibilities. You can annotate and draw directly using Jamboards. You can take a screenshot of a text, annotate directly on that. You can do so many things. My last tips for you: make play relevant. It should not be seen as time fillers. Provide a reason to interact, and establish solid routines and rules on the target language. And the conclusion is here for you, that collaborative learning through the use of collaborative tasks has been shown to foster language development. Interaction does not only promote language development, but it also fosters the development of social skills. And interaction gives learners the opportunity to use language successfully and to measure their progress. And besides being motivating and challenging, interactive tasks and games provide language practice in the various skills: speaking, writing, listening, and reading. They also lend themselves well to revision exercises, helping learners recall material in a pleasant, entertaining way. And here, it's just a stoplight self-assessment for you, that to think about this and assess your own teaching style, and what would you stop doing, what would be something that you would continue to do, and what would be something that you will start doing. Thank you very much, and apologies it took a little bit longer than expected. I will share again these with you. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Shiva. Just brilliant ideas, taking Jamboard to the next level. And I love all the way in which you've put everything into context, and you've got a really clear rationale about why you're doing what you're doing. And yeah, great stuff. I'm a big fan of Windows Swap as well. I think it's really cool. There's another tool which is quite similar called Drive and Listen. I don't know if you know that one.
I have no.
So Drive, if you do a search, I put it in the chat, but if you do a search for Drive and Listen, what it allows you to do, you can basically pretend that you're in a taxi, I suppose, or a car, going around different capital cities or well-known places around the world, and listen to local radio while you're doing it. So I think for like promoting culture and what have you, and you could obviously, you could come up with other activities that you could then use in the context of Jamboard as well. But yeah, Drive and Listen.
Drive and Listen. I'll look that up for sure. Yeah. Thank you, Joe.
That's all right. No problem at all. Helen, a few thoughts.
Well, I'm just reading. I don't know, you can see the chat. Can you, what people are saying there? So Iris saying, thank you, so many great ideas, and great that we could have the hands-on practice as well. And thank you ever so much for doing that, really, because I think sometimes we've thought, well, we've got things to get through and we won't have to do that. It was invaluable doing that. It really was. You could see that. And then Helen, what did you say? You were saying some things. Helen McFarland, if you'd like to come in, you normally have lovely ways of putting it as well.
I said, what a whirlwind of fantasticness.
Thank you.
I don't know whether that exists, but I've just maybe created a neologism. So inspired am I.
Oh, thank you so much, Ellen. I'm glad it helped.
I like Jamboard. I really like Jamboard. I've used it to create an awareness, much more awareness of French-speaking countries. So using pictures of French-speaking countries around the world, and that cultural awareness, it's just opened their eyes, and it's like a treasure hunt, and it's just great fun. But I love it. So you've given me some great ideas. Thank you.
Wonderful. You're so welcome.
And you've given us ideas, which, I mean, someone has put in GCSE photo card. I don't know what system you have, but in our country at the moment, we do have a task where they see a picture and they have to describe it, which could seem as being really very dull. But really what you're showing us there is a really interesting way of doing it. And it obviously sparked off everybody else's idea. And certainly it made me think, because for a long time, ages and ages ago, I remember that we were trained that everything had to have an information gap. Yes, had to be communicative. And I remember spending ages trying to think how you the simplest thing, you're always guessing something and you weren't
Yes.
sure. And it was great that you've brought that back. It's something which, we really need more than ever now. I think
agree.
it's things that to make, spark that interest and that communication and the desire for communication. That's really key, isn't it? So
Yes, thank
brilliant.
you.
Thank you ever so much. And thank
course.
you so much, Joe, for discovering this wonderful talent.
Well, I love the breakout rooms. I think as you say, Helen, it really brought things to life. It was just great. I was going to ask in relation to Jamboard, do you ever find that your learners click on the clear frame, when that will then just clear everything? Do you ever find that they do that, or are they always well behaved?
Yeah, they not in my classes. So I give them the rules. So I tell them this is how you have to do before I send them off. But it did not happen, perhaps because they're university students.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But I would say if they, just being like upfront and telling them, hey, this is what is expected of you. If they're like elementary students or secondary, it's like, I think it's just that would help, but I'm not sure if they would do that, what would happen.
Sure. Well, they've got this new revision history, which I've not had to play with yet, but similar to like a Google Doc. If they were to say clear the screen, well, if you in a Jamboard, if you click on the 3 dots top right to the left of the share button, it should say at the bottom of that menu that comes up, revision history.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So if you click on that, it means you can go back to a previous version of the Jamboard if someone wants to be a pain.
That's great.
Really
the only problem with
to be able to say, actually everything is recorded here. We've got that of itself would help.
The other thing I was going to say, with the background, you can have an image as the background.
Yes.
Do you ever do that with, say, like for example, you had like the worksheet option where they're drawing over the top.
Mm-hmm.
If you have that as the background, it means that they can't play around with it or move it around. I just wondered if that's something that you play around with.
That's a great idea. Yeah, that to just use that as a background rather than, that's a fantastic idea to do. The only thing I found, well, it was not a problem in my classes, but it's capped at 25 people for Jamboard. That 25 people can simultaneously work on it, not more. So I don't know how many you have in your classes, but for me, it was never a problem. It was never an issue.
I think the important thing is all the principles that you've given us, we could then apply to whatever platform we're using, because certainly within Microsoft, you've got Class Notebook, you've got a collaborative area. So all of the ideas that you were giving us there, that could be applied that way. And we've also had someone talking to us about how you could use just a simple PowerPoint and assign a different slide to different people. So there are ways, aren't there?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But you've really inspired us with all of those ideas, which it's great, really attractive.
One of my favorite things with Jamboard at the moment is I've discovered this new web tool called gifcap.dev. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's GIF CAP _DEV. And what it lets you do, it lets you share your screen, record whatever is on the screen for as long as, let's say 15 seconds, and then you turn what you've done into an animated GIF. So it allows you to turn it into a GIF automatically. So for example, in Jamboard, I've recorded the screen in the Jamboard, and then I've created different sticky notes with different words. Say, for example, I don't speak German, but say in German, word order is really important, isn't it? Therefore, you could have different sticky notes with the different words in a sentence, put them into the wrong order, and then record your screen using gifcap.dev, move them back into the correct order, go back, stop the recording, and that will turn it into an animated GIF. And then the really cool thing as well is the cursor becomes a cross, and then you can then select just the bit that you want to keep. In other words, you can scan over the recording and get rid of everything that you don't want. So you just have the white, let's say the white background with all the sticky notes inside, and then you can then export that, and then if you wanted to, you could then import that GIF as a background. That makes sense, like a model.
Is it like an extension, or is it like a separate app?
No, so it's not an extension, it's a website.
It's a website. Okay.
So you just go to
Rose has asked if
giftcap.dev.
you could, can you type it in there?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Yes.
it's yeah, I've tweeted many times about it as well, but it's just giftcap.dev. There we are, giftcap.dev. And as I say, you could record anything you want. You could do the same thing with a PowerPoint or a class notebook. But I think in Jamboard, it's very nice the way in which you can just crop everything that you don't want to have. So you just have the bit in the, and then, as I said, you can use that as a model. So then the students could see that, and then they could then create their own if they wanted to on other frames in a Jamboard.
Nice. That's very nice. I'm just looking at the chat. Vanessa has a question. I think she's still here. Yes. So can the teacher or student edit the sticky notes from others? Yes. Can you bend to a student to post sticky notes? If you make them view. So let me show you how to do it, just as now that everyone's here, how you can change permission. Let's go back to my screen. Okay. So all right. It takes a minute. I have a billion tabs open. So
I must say, because Joe's normally the person for that. This professor's giving you a run for your money there.
I know.
Look at that.
I know.
So basically yeah, for me, it's like a to-do list. If I close it, that means I have achieved something, something's done. I can't just close them. My students are always like, just close those tabs. I'm like, yeah, I'll get there. Hopefully during summer. But yeah. So anyway, so on the upper right side, because I created these slides, these gems, I definitely do that through Google, and you need an account for that. But what you can do is, let's see, does everyone see the 3 dots next to my name, right? So you click on that, and then, oh no, never mind. Yes, where is it? Where's my share? No, that looks,
so the blue button, you need to click the blue button.
Just the blue button, yes. Yeah, like didn't see that. So you click on share, and then this opens. Where is it? Here we go. Then you click get link. So click on that once, and it says anyone with the link. You click on that, and it says restricted or just the university or anyone with the link. So I clicked on anyone with the link, and then you can decide, do you want viewers so they can just view your slides? They cannot move things around, delete things, or you can make them editor. And for this activity, everyone was an editor because, oh, sorry, this one, no. This is from my student. So it was just on view for you to show, basically. That's how you can do it. So that's how you can restrict like access, them having access to your slides. This is one way.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Of course, Vanessa. Yeah, let me know if there are any other questions.
Let's have a quick look. I don't think there was anything else. Let's have a look. I've just put a tweet in the chat as well as an example of the giftcap.dev. But if you search for giftcap.dev and my name on Twitter, you'll find lots of examples I've been tweeting about. It's also really nice for like quick how-to guides, like how do I change the language of the Bitmoji Chrome extension to a different language, and I've created like a 15-second GIF showing how to do that using giftcap.dev.
Nice.
There we are.
I heard that music. Is that yours, Joe?
No, I've not got any music playing in the background, but there we are.
So Helen's got to go. Can I just quickly take a picture of the people who?
Yeah. Let's do that.
If anybody can put on their video, that'd be fine. But I understand if not everyone can. Do you see Helen immediately starts doing this? You're looking wonderful, Helen. Lovely to see you all. Okay, so anybody else who's going to be brave enough to switch on their thing? Otherwise, I'll start now. Here goes. And with Rosa, we've got 2 for 1 there. Look. And there's Vanessa. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. There we go. And then I've got lovely. Thank you very much. Oh, I only got half of you, Fuzzier. So if we could just have another one with, yeah, there we are. I can see a bit more of you now. So here we go. And 1, 2, 3. There. That's nice.
Oh, thank you. It was brilliant. Lovely.
Really good.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thanks for coming.
Right. So I'll
Thank
stop the
you.
recording now.
Yeah,
Yes.
lovely.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
It was amazing. Thank you.
Of course.
very
Thank you
much.
so much for joining. Thank you.